And hello and welcome back. You are listening to the Pride of Detroit PODcast, prideofdetroit.com, Pride of Detroit on Twitter, Pride of Detroit on Facebook. You know where to find us. You always do. We are your friends. We're in your ear. I'm your friend, Chris Perfett, the adequate host, at Chris Perfett on Twitter, PERFETT. As we come to you live on twitch.tv/Pride of Detroit, where you can watch us live every Monday. And always download the podcast on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get podcasts. The Pride of Detroit PODcast. The POD stands for Pride of Detroit. That's what we do it at Pride of Detroit on Twitter. As we come to you again here and from our digital war room, as we sit here, we've got quite a bit to talk about on this show. We've got our OTA preview. We've got some buy and sell on coaching talk that Jeremy has promised is going to be intriguing. And we'll get to our starting topic in a second. But yes, the big man himself is back from vacation. Pride of Detroit's fearless leader, mustacheless, Jeremy Reisman. Hello, Jeremy, at Detroit Online.
Hi, guys. I missed you. How you guys doing? All right, great talk, guys.
I had the dictatorship rolling. We were vibing. We were chilling. You were chilling, and you've decided instead to come back to hell. You've just decided to come back to talk about football because you are a degenerate.
I'm trying to restore sanity to this place. Even though I thought you guys did, you guys held the fort down. Let's be honest. I listened to you guys on my car ride back, and I was surprised by how civil it was and seemingly organized.
That's called damning praise, folks. That's how you knock someone's legs out from beneath them without them supposedly knowing about it. And to explain that further, let's bring in the third man of the PODcast, Ryan Matthews, at Ryan_POD. Ryan, can you just tell the audience what Jeremy just did?
I don't know if he complimented us or not.
He didn't.
I'm still confused. I'm confused. I mean, it's nice to have him back though because it brings some symmetry to the layout. I'm glad he's back.
I'm in the middle.
Yeah, he's in the middle.
Billy, no surprise there.
Ryan, I think your mic's a little burned out right now, but yeah. But we'll deal with that. Technical difficulties, as always, to go along with the POD cast. But we're all in here, and we're all three of us are back, and it feels good, doesn't it?
Feels natural. All right, I'm getting nothing out of you guys. I'm back, and you guys want me to carry the conversation.
I fixed it. My mic is better now, right?
That's good enough.
So we'll
okay,
deal with
cool.
it in a second.
Adequate. There we go. Perfect. Podcast.
Yeah, I know. Well, you were busy just, getting your bets in for tonight's NBA action, so I can't blame you.
I'm not allowed to do that anymore.
Really? What happened? What happened last night? Hold on. What happened last night?
It's not just one night, Chris.
What happened over the week? All right, hold up. Lakers, Warriors. Did you had the Warriors, right?
I come back and we're talking basketball? What the hell is... You guys were supposed to get this out of your system last week.
There's no football for him to bet on, Jeremy.
We didn't plan this. I promise you we did not plan this.
No, we didn't. All right. Well, let's get on to the Lions stuff while Ryan nurses his wounds there. We have an interesting report to start with. I don't know how long we're going to really talk about this one before jumping into Jeremy's game he wants to play. But I want to talk about this because during the week, while we were kind of in between two podcasts, if you will, reports came out from CBS Sports' Dennis Dodd that the Detroit Lions had offered a 8-year, $68.5 million deal to Campbell to be the head coach.
Matt Campbell.
Now, that's not...
Matt Campbell, let's be clear.
No, I know. Yeah.
Oh.
Damn it, Jeremy! You ruined my setup. You
gotta convey this message to me, all right, ahead of time.
I was going to joke because I'm pretty sure there was an SB Nation article that misidentified the Lions head coach as Matt Campbell. And I know Ryan was like letting people know about that, but hey, no, this was actually to Matt Campbell, 8 years, $6.8 million deal. However, Jeremy, sources have been coming out and saying like, no, this didn't actually, like the Lions apparently were interested in Matt Campbell, the other Campbell, but not to the tune of 8-year deal for a guy who is currently right now coaching the Iowa State Cyclones.
Yeah, and there were definitely signs from the get-go that this was kind of a weird report to just kind of come out of nowhere. It was literally released in the middle of a video segment where they're talking about the top 10 college football coaches right now. The guy just throws that out there without, writing anything on it. CBS didn't write a report up on it. Basically, he just kind of said it as an offhand comment, and everyone's like, wait, what did you just say? No one's ever said that before. I don't think he realized maybe that no one ever said that before. And yeah, and since then, a Lions source has talked to Dave Burkett and told him it's not true. Albert Breer came out early this week and said, yeah, they were really interested. They had talked a couple times. Chris Spielman apparently knows Matt Campbell from their days at Ohio together, where they both grew up. But they never even talked contract. They were about to fly over and meet him for the first time, but they never discussed any sort of contract. They never discussed a deal, any sort of that. So it seems like this report is erroneous, but I want to throw it to Ryan because I know Ryan has been chomping at the bit to talk about this really since the news first came out. And I think he kind of titled his own opinion on it as a conspiracy theory. So I'd love to hear what you have to think.
Conspiracy theories.
Oh, so you give the floor to me? Is that what's happening?
That's yeah. I'm trying to get some chemistry back here because clearly we're off our game right now.
Yeah, we're off our game. I'll bring it.
I'll bring
it. Yeah, I'll bring it back to even. I'll bring it back to the center. So here's the thing. I want to keep my tinfoil hat on when it comes to all of this because I think the first thing that really got people in a tizzy was the terms of the contract and it being 8 years and them seemingly a lot of people being kind of just wowed at both the length of the contract and the terms of the contract in terms of the money. I don't think it's all that wild. I don't think it's that crazy, especially when you consider the contract that the Carolina Panthers gave to Matt Rule back in January of 2020.
Or the one that maybe John Gruden got with the Raiders.
Maybe not comparing it to that one for not being crazy is not the right thing to do there.
I mean, it's still 10 years.
It's possible.
It's a lot more money, but I think what I'm trying to say is I think Ryan's onto something in that long-term contracts, not too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and do the length of contracts for players or coaches even matter anymore? Like there's voidable years that are happening. When it comes to like a coaching contract, if a contract is that long, there's always a way for a team to get out of it and move on to the next thing because let's be honest, the team is paying that contract and the team can afford it. Okay. But from this standpoint, I thought one of the most interesting aspects of Dodd dropping that, bomb out of nowhere that the Lions had offered Matt Campbell a contract of that magnitude was the comment that he made about what he was trying to confirm whether or not that Matt Campbell was offered full control of the Detroit Lions. And I started to just kind of piece everything together when the initial report came out because I think that's what a lot of people were doing. I mean, like Justin Rogers commented on it, Dave Burkett commented on it. Obviously, he followed up and kind of debunked this contract offer to Matt Campbell. But I think as I started to put things together, it seemed like the timeline of these events kind of made sense in the idea that Brad Holmes wasn't the Lions GM yet when supposedly this offer happened. There was great interest from the Lions, obviously, in Matt Campbell. I'm on the side that says like, yes, there probably wasn't an official contract offered, but when this was first refuted, it really seemed like it only benefited the Lions to come out and squash this. It only really seemed to benefit the Lions to come out and say something against this because why would Matt Campbell ever comment on it? I think the only thing that it does for him in terms of his perception, and this kind of goes to the Albert Breer report where, he made an agreement because he has a roster that's really filled with upperclassmen and seniors. Yeah. And apparently he committed to them because they committed to come back for another year at Iowa State. So it was kind of like this loyalty agreement. But I mean, this looks good on Matt Campbell because it's like, yeah, I'm committed to Iowa State. I turned down an 8-year and $68.5 million contract to come back and coach at Iowa State. For the Lions, I mean, at first it seemed like complete and utter damage control. It's like, no, Dan Campbell was our first choice. Like that's what it appeared to be from the outside looking in. And Burkett's obviously done some reporting, and I think that he's a great source to trust. So I ultimately believe him. But at the same time, I'm going to keep my tinfoil hat on because I think that where there's smoke, there's fire. And even now we're splitting hairs on like whether or not an official offer was ever made. Like were terms ever even talked about? Like can we report on that? Like, you know what I mean? So it seems like we're kind of just splitting hairs in this report a little bit. So I'm choosing to believe in something that's more interesting.
I get that, and I think my concern, at least when it was just the report from CBS and just Burkett, it was kind of just like choose who you believe, right? Like because I do believe, like you're saying, the Lions have motivation to deny this and put out a report that it's not true. Well, what's the motivation for this to be leaked in the first place? That's an important question to think about. Because it probably, like you said, it makes Matt Campbell look really good, right? Like he loves his team so much he turned down an $84 million deal or 8 years or whatever. Like that makes him look good. So maybe the release comes on his end or whatever. So I mean, basically you have to weigh like, all right, is Matt Campbell releasing this to look good or the Lions releasing this to make them look good? Well, the answer is probably somewhere in between, right? And now you throw Albert Breer in the mix. He doesn't really say what his source is. I do credit Dave for saying outright like this is a Lions source. This was someone within the Lions, so that gives you the option to be like, well, can I believe this, or is this just Lions saying, hey, Dan Campbell was always our guy? Like that's the part to me I definitely don't think I believe, is that I don't think right off the bat Dan Campbell was a guy. Based on every report out there that isn't that one single Lions report, including some things Dave Burkett has reported, Matt Campbell was very, very coveted by this team. And to be clear, that doesn't negate anything. Like I think a lot of Lions fans get defensive over this story to begin with because they're like, Dan Campbell's my guy. It's like this doesn't take away from any of that. This is just Lions. They did due diligence. They looked at a lot of guys. They probably liked a lot of guys. That doesn't mean it's a perfect match every time. And it turned out not to be a perfect match with Matt Campbell. Am I going to sit here and tell you at the time I would prefer Dan to Matt Campbell? No, I don't think anyone really had Dan Campbell on the radar at all. But Dan has gone a long way since to kind of prove himself. But I think we all probably would have been pretty happy about Matt Campbell right now. And in the Albert Breer report, said he was coveted by 5 of 7 teams looking for a new coach. 7 teams requested an interview with the guy. He's considered one of the best college coaches right now. And so it's kind of a bummer Matt Campbell turned him down. I'm not saying this news is signs of Lions incompetence or hammering on Dan Campbell or anything like that. It's an interesting part of the equation, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if I remember from the coaching search carousel that was going on this season, Matt Campbell's name was thrown around for more than just the Lions. Like this wasn't just the Lions trying to hone in on Matt Campbell. And yeah, I want to stress on one point Jeremy said about like it doesn't take away on like Dan Campbell's your guy. I hate to say it, but if Lions fans if the Lions had gotten someone else, every Lions fan would be saying, oh, Coach Grunsnut is our guy, or whatever his name is. I don't know. I'm just throwing a name out there. Like, you would always say the guy's your guy. Like, come on. But I think I don't want to go tinfoil hat like the rest of you guys. I don't know why it was leaked. I will just say, however, I'm kind of glad it wasn't Matt Campbell, because on one hand, and I think it was smart for Matt Campbell to turn down any offers he might have gotten from the NFL and stay with Iowa State, because Matt Campbell's whole coaching career is just 2012 to 2015 Toledo, 2016 to present Iowa State. That is his head coaching record right there. Toledo, which I love, that's my hometown. I love Toledo Rockets football. Don't get me wrong. And then Iowa State, which is, if we're being clear, probably the second tier, maybe third tier. It's never been a great college in the Big 12. And I think even in the college ranks, people are waiting for Matt Campbell to move up to a big boy job in somewhere else in the Power 5, be it, a Texas or whatever have you. They're not looking at him as being like, yeah, this guy's going to be an NFL head coach. And yeah, we've seen, we saw Matt Rule move up from Baylor to the Carolina Panthers, but my
almost
point is
identical.
He
started at Temple, went to a Big 12 team, and then got a big boy NFL contract.
Yeah, at least I would say that that Baylor, at least because of what they had with our Bryles, at least saw more success than Iowa State has had in a very long time.
But if you're talking if you're talking strictly experience, they're incredibly similar to one another.
Sure, and we still have to see what Matt Rule is. Like, I think he got a lot of good press for his first year, which was still like a 4-16 season for the Panthers at the end of the day. But again, like, is that who you would want to throw your kind of... I think it's smart for Matt Campbell, because if Matt Campbell goes to the NFL with that experience and bombs out, then it's going to be kind of a hard ladder to crawl back. Like, all these guys think, I mean, and it'll be the same case for Matt Rule. If Matt Rule doesn't do well in Carolina, like, what's the next step if he gets fired from Carolina? So I think some guys, like, sometimes it's good to stay in the pools that you know, at least until you know for certain you're ready to go on. And I think for Iowa State, yeah, it was cool. You won the Fiesta Bowl. That's a New Year's Six bowl. I think, I don't know.
He turned that program around, though. I mean, like, what do you expect? You expect him to win a national championship in year 3?
No. I am just saying it is still a limited pool versus.
Sure. It's a risk.
Matt Campbell is not assembling the coaching staff that Dan Campbell has right now. That's what I'm saying.
100% true.
Yeah, and that's something we were just talking about this with Joe Judge, right? On how much of a staff can Joe Judge make. And I mean, different case there. He's a lot younger, Joe Judge. But I mean, just God, like, I think I would take a guy with connections. What I'm saying is, like, Matt Campbell doesn't have the NFL connections right now. That's still a huge risk, no matter what that is.
No question, it's a huge risk. It would have been a completely different route for this team to take. And I almost admire the Lions a little bit more, knowing that they kind of diversified their vision there, because if Matt Campbell's your head coach, he's running the show. I'm not sure Dan Campbell is necessarily really running the show. He's delegating everything, and that's fine. Like, if he just wants to be the rah-rah guy in the locker room and can make everything else work, great. But Matt Campbell is a guy. Style of coaching. Yeah, Matt Campbell would have been a guy that would be, his hands would be all over the offense. His hands would be all over the play calling. His hands would be all over everything. And it's a completely different style. And you're right, it's extremely risky. The guy doesn't have any NFL experience. But when have the Lions taken a big risk like that? It would have been exciting. Like you said, people would have bought in immediately, because that's what you do with a new regime. But to me, it's just interesting that they were clearly interested in a guy who was very clearly not Dan Campbell. It would have been a completely different approach. And that's all it means to me. It doesn't mean the Lions got, They failed in not getting their number one guy. It doesn't mean that they settled for Dan Campbell or anything like that. It just means he was part of the search. Didn't work out for both sides, and they went a different way.
You get the guy that you get. I don't know if the Lions got their guy, whoever their first overall one was. No matter what fans say about the Lions got their guy, you get the guy that's decided he wants to sign with you to be your coach. At the end of the day, it's not always your guy, but it's the guy you get, and that's sometimes the best thing. I can't imagine, like, for you look at some of the legendary coaches out there, I can't imagine Bill Belichick was the first name for some people. Maybe Nick Saban's was the first name for the Dolphins. That didn't work out great there. Maybe Steve Spurrier was the first name for Washington. How'd that go? Like, it's not always a fate. Sometimes the decision you get to make is not always in your hands. Okay, that's a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? Never mind. That's bad analogy. What I'm saying is that sometimes, the right guy is just kind of, it's the one that it either works out or it doesn't. I don't know. The whole your guy thing just doesn't track with me, because sometimes, again, some of the guys who have been the best weren't the first choice either.
You don't have to go back too far in Lions history to see where that happened, right? Like, apparently they swung and missed on Ken Wisenhunt, and they ended up with Jim Caldwell. And I would say that worked out pretty well for the Detroit Lions
their first guy after Jim Caldwell was Matt Patricia, their top guy,
and not Mike Vrabel. So it works out. Right, it works out. But here's one last thing that I kind of want to say about the Matt Campbell stuff, because a lot of people, in addition to the length of the contract and questioning the dollar amount of the contract, a lot of people were wondering, why would Matt Campbell ever turn down that kind of money? I think it's really easy as to why Matt Campbell would turn that down, because like Chris already alluded to, for a guy who's making that leap from Iowa State to the NFL, and if things fail, it's a hard climb back up. Matt Campbell would have been
you're going back to Toledo.
Well, Matt Campbell would have been tasked with trading Matthew Stafford, picking at number 7, taking over one of the worst defenses in NFL history, navigating a salary cap hell like we have not seen in the NFL before. Because if Matt Campbell was given this job, he was going to be given a job that was very similar in terms to Matt Rule, and Matt Rule has final say on the 53-man roster at Carolina. So there would be a lot of decision-making that Matt Campbell would have to do in the early onset stages of him getting hired. Think about the whirlwind that we were in when Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell got hired. It was Matt Stafford getting traded for first-round draft picks and Jared Goff, and like everything was just at breakneck speed. I mean, I know Jeremy, from having to cover everything, needed a vacation and a cigarette just to get by. But like for I think Matt Campbell, like I think it behooves him to turn down this job, because guess what? He's going to be Michigan's next head coach.
Okay.
Heard it here first.
Oh, damn, he's digging in that knife. I think we should take a break on that. I think I'm going to let Jeremy.
Jeremy, you shouldn't be upset about that. You should be excited about that.
That's
as a non-Michigan fan.
That's probably true. What do you mean a non-Michigan fan?
fan?
What do you mean a non-Michigan fan? What?
I thought you retired that.
He did retire.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Oh.
It's a lot like Jordan. He'll come back.
Yeah, exactly.
For the Wizards.
Yeah.
New Washington Wizards super fan, Jeremy Reisman. We're taking a break here. We come back. Speaking of Jeremy, he saw our game that we played, Ryan. He got really jealous, so he wants to now throw his own game at us, and we'll see what it is. He's told me it's buy or sell, so that might be a little more cliche than superlatives, but we will hear him out. We'll see what he's got for us, and we will be right back on the Pride of Detroit POD cast, which is more catty than usual. All right, Ryan, can I ask you to it's probably going to the wrong microphone.
I already switched it over, so I don't know what's going on with it.
Maybe just turn down the input. It sounds like overmodulated.
Oops.
If there's like a gain or something, I don't know.
While you do that, let me catch up on some alerts, because we had a bunch at the top here. Let's see. Thank you, H. Chekas, for the follow. Then Nick Coscarelli, our good friend, 26 months, subscribed to the channel, says 26 months, W2F, I love you all, smiley face. Love you too, Nick, obviously. Come on. I don't need to say it every show, but I think it's implied every show. We love you, Nick. Constrictor 14 with the 11 months, a month away from a full year, says glad you're back from vacation. Thank you, Constrictor. Appreciate it. I'm happy to be back. CJ Craig then with the 14 months says, say what? It's kind of crazy now that like all of our subscribers are either are close to a year or over a year at this point.
We're hitting double digits, yeah.
Then we had LJ come in with the 100 bits, throws in the new Pride of Blue stash emote. And then Katie Fromm with the 300 bits. Appreciate that as well. Then we had a bunch of follows. Bruce Fredrickson over on YouTube subscribed, which is kind of odd that happened in the middle of a podcast, considering we're not streaming to YouTube right now. Then Posta, Zuluk, and Kyle, your friend, all followed on the Twitch
and
channel.
Lion in London just extended his tier 1 subscription through June.
Through June. Nice. June. It doesn't tell me how long you've been subscribed, but yeah, I know it's been a while. So thank you for that.
Nick Slick has a question for me, by the way. He says, Chris, heading into week 7 Rams game, $165 for nosebleeds. Am I crazy for spending this much? Get your overpriced tickets. I'm looking at them on like Ticketmaster and StubHub, and I'm seeing nosebleeds for like about $80. So I think you did overspend a little bit, but I mean, you got your ticket. And maybe I'm looking at like super nosebleeds. So maybe if you're like looking in like the 300, if you got like a ticket in the 300s, that might actually be like, because all of these $80 ones I'm seeing are like in the 500s. But I don't know. To go to that game, I know there's a lot of people wanting to go to that game. And I know I'm getting that weekend off and I'm going to that game. And I was already talking with someone on Discord about trying to meet up. I'm not good at planning. I know Hollywood Park is right next door, so that might be a place to meet up either before or after the game. I don't think it's possible to get everyone to kind of sit together, though.
I fixed my mic, I think. Did I? Did I not? No.
No. It's better. It's no. That's.
I'll just turn up your volume. Keep talking.
Do I have to turn it up or turn it down?
No, I'm turning you up. You're fine.
Yeah, it just sounds like it's just not your usual microphone. That's all.
It is.
Did you just tap it?
Huh?
Did you
I did
tap
just
your
tap
microphone?
it. Yeah.
Well, I didn't get like a feedback from it. No, nothing. Usually, so it means it's going to a different device. So you might need to like switch devices around again.
Yeah, I could screenshot it and show you that it's connected to the.
No, but
mic,
I mean like switch to another device, then switch back to the other device again.
Edwin, which one? Right, I know, or left? Right or left?
Joshua Murphy, you got the tickets? Nice. Yeah, I'm excited to go, man. I think last NFL game I went to was Thanksgiving 2015, and we talked about that before, but I got in fights with Eagles fans. He sounds fine from your standpoint. He might be, but let me tell you, as a sound engineer, that's not his usual sound.
Okay. I'm doing well, Dylan, by the way. Thank you for asking. And hello, our good friends at Baltimore Beatdown. Yes, indeed, we do have a blue check mark now. We're fancy. Doesn't really mean that much, but means we're fancy. And then also, Patman, thank you for the 18 bits as well. Oh, Katie of course, Katie from Michigan. I should know that. I should have figured that out.
I don't know. I was just figuring that out the other week too. So, Dylan Ketchum. I've never been to a Thanksgiving game. I'll be honest. They're kind of a little overrated. I like having the game on Thanksgiving, but I think it's better to watch on the TV with your family than going to the game itself.
I mean, I get that for sure. As someone who grew up as part of the tradition, part of my Thanksgiving tradition, I did like I mean, the timing is perfect. Whereas like by the time you get home, like dinner is ready and you just go straight into that instead of having to spend 5 hours with your family that you don't want to spend with.
I guess, but see, I guess I'm weird because, like, again, I'm breaking my cardinal rule not to talk about my family, but I have a very good relationship with most of my family, so I don't mind spending time with my family for Thanksgiving.
And to be clear, I'm perfectly fine with my immediate family. There's
even my cousins,
the further away you get,
even most of my cousins I'm fine with. Like some of them are psychos, but like in a social setting, we all get along.
There you go.
Because everyone's drunk.
I'm still debating the LA game too, by the way. Like I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with it. Obviously I could get credentials. I just miss LA. I'd like to just go to LA for a week and make a week out of it, but I don't know if my work schedule really works out for a full week. It'd probably just be more like a Friday to Sunday thing. And
I don't know how that would do if like suddenly we're shutting down like 2/3 of the POD cast
right
too.
Yeah, Dylan, we did do the Matt Campbell
literally
stuff.
Just finished talking.
That was our first first segment, sadly. Or maybe, I mean, it was interesting. I thought people were going to be really eager to ask us about Matt Campbell stuff during the locker room, and no one did. And so maybe Lions fans don't even want to talk about it, but I think we had a good conversation about it.
Here's the other thing too about watching the game on TV. Well, here's the other thing too is like, I mean, maybe I could get my dad to come up with me for a Thanksgiving Lions game, but most of the rest of my family are not Lions fans. In fact, some of my cousins are like Cowboys fans. I don't know, like it's more fun that we get to have it on the TV when I go over to my uncle's house, and then I get to be the loud, obnoxious Lions fan screaming as Darius Slay picks off Kirk Cousins in 2016.
True.
Sam Bradford, same difference.
Sam Bradford, it's better now. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, it's not my mic because my mic is broken, so I need a new one.
Jeez.
Oh.
Okay. We'll figure that out later.
You sound pretty good now, though. It's all manageable.
Yeah, I think just turning down the input helps. It doesn't blow it out too much, so I can work with that.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, I'm getting my weekend off for sure because I haven't been to an NFL game in a while, and to be honest, I took a sick day because of the vaccine, and it was my first day off on this job of my usual shifts in 2 years. So I think I want more time now. I want more time to go, especially now that I've got the second vaccine and everything opens up. We're going to like back to max capacity in California on June 15th. So I'm kind of tired of being a hermit a little bit. I'm ready
Makes
to.
Sense.
Yeah. Love having the game on Thanksgiving. Live in Chicago, and all my family is from here, so I end up watching it in the basement by myself. In the basement after being asked for the thousandth time why the Lions get to play on Thanksgiving every year. Look, man, I know exactly what you mean. My mom's side of the family are all Steelers fans.
All right, sorry. I'm just preparing for the next segment here. Get my questions ready.
Questions. Look at you doing prep.
I'm a big boy now. Anyways,
Clip that.
I'm a big kid now. What commercial was that? Was that
Pull-ups? I
Huggies.
think.
No.
Yeah.
Huggies, yeah.
Was it?
Mommy, wow, I'm a big. No, wait.
I thought that was Toys R Us. No, that's not Toys R Us.
Yes, it was. No.
No.
I don't want to go.
I'm a big kid now is definitely pull-ups like Huggies.
All right, well, yeah, everyone's saying pull-up Pampers.
It's Pampers pull-ups, yeah.
All right, we got some diaper experts in the chat today.
You never forget jingles. You never really forget jingles. I know. They I still have a jingle from a Chevrolet dealer in Toledo stuck in my head, and I know the jingle perfectly.
Farmer Jack has the greatest jingle of all time. It still slaps.
I don't remember theirs.
If you want to save money more than just once in a while, it's just a matter of fact. If you want to save money aisle after aisle after aisle, it's just a matter of fact that it's always savings time at Farmer Jack. No? Nothing?
What's that?
Nothing. But that was good.
It honestly slaps, and it slaps so much that they made a parody of it in the show Detroiters.
The place to go is Alexis and Monroe, Dave White, Chevrolet.com. They added the .com, I think, at some point. I used to play World of Warcraft with this one girl from New Zealand. And down in New Zealand, McDonald's had something that's called the Kiwi Burger, which is like a quarter pounder with beetroot and one of those fried egg patties you'd normally get on an Egg McMuffin. Mm-hmm. And they used to have a jingle back in the 80s from it, and it's a long, very complicated jingle. She knew the whole thing by heart. And she would just sing it for us unprompted, as soon as I mentioned Kiwi Burger on... wasn't Discord back then. It was what would it have been? It would have been was it Ventrilo? But I know it wasn't TeamSpeak. It was after TeamSpeak. I think it was Ventrilo. Yes, it was Ventrilo. Yeah. Because it would go like TeamSpeak, Ventrilo, then I think Mumble for a little bit, and then everyone moved to Discord. It's kind of how the voice over IP shit kind of worked.
Before we jump into
New Zealand.
Before we jump into our second segment, we did get a listcast request for our favorite jingles.
Oh, God.
Farmer Jack is obviously my number one. I think Dick Scott Dodge is probably up there for me. We'll never give you
O'Reilly's.
Oh no.
I was gonna say O'Reilly.
Nope.
That'll echo with you when you're dead.
We'll never give you best than our best shot. When you buy a Dodge from Dick Scott. No, not car. Come on, Cars for Kids. Get out of here. That's the worst one. Nope.
K-A-R-S.
Nope.
See, I like that one because K-A-R-S Cars is also the name of a JoJo villain. Cars.
No, oh God.
Oh God, Menards. Save big money at Menards.
Yeah, this is my version of Twitchcast karaoke. Keys on Van Nuys is okay, but to me, it's Barbara Ann, right? Like keys from Van Nuys, like
Baltimore Beatdown's muted the stream.
There's got to be more.
Hold up, which of the McDonald's ones is like the one you remember most? Which of the McDonald's jingles? Because they've gone for a few through the years.
At this point, like, I'm loving it. It's just like,
I think that's the only one at this point.
But I mean, they had like the whole song with like, I don't even know how it went. I was too young, I think, the whole special.
Yeah, I used to remember it, but
all
I think
on a sesame seed bun or whatever
has like just completely annihilated my brain.
Yeah, the big
wine garts, everything from lawn to snow.
I don't know that one. I know wine garts, but I don't know that
Tigers that's always the Tigers broadcast. Yeah.
The Empire one is pretty good. 805.
Oh wait, the Empire. Is that Empire Carpet?
588-2300 Empire today.
We're just doing a lot of localized stuff too.
Is that local? I don't think that's localized. I think Empire. I mean,
it's big, but it's also like there's not many companies that do jingles anymore. You know?
Oh, my buddy, how am I not myself? Just came through one I hadn't thought about in for years, and that's the one for Wayne State University.
Wayne State World.
A world of opportunity. Wayne State University. Wayne State.
Okay. You saying that one?
Oh, actually, I've got. Okay, go on, Ryan. Then I've got one.
I was gonna say, Education Connection.
Oh, that one sounds familiar. How's it go?
It's really long, but it's like you're working for an hourly wage, and like, oh man,
So you guys mentioning Wayne State reminded me of there's a community college in Perrysburg, which between Toledo and Findlay. What was it? Your success starts here. Owens Community College.
What was it? There was another one in. We're father and son. Give us a call. You remember that one? I don't remember the rest of it.
I remember one of the original
Jones Barbecue and Foot Massage.
I remember one of the original memes of the internet was Flea Market, Montgomery. It's just let's get out there. A mini mall. Hey, come shop now. Living rooms, bedrooms, dinettes. Oh yeah, you can find it at the market. We're talking about Flea Market, Montgomery. It's just like a mini mall. And it goes on for 5 fucking minutes.
We're never going to get back to Lions talk at this point. Ryan just sent me the Education Connection jingle. I'll play it for you guys.
Oh God, 877 cash now. Yeah.
Call JG Wentworth.
Went to high school, didn't do great.
That might be number one, just because he does some really creative ones.
I don't know. I can't think of it right now either. But the General Auto Insurance for a while too.
For a great low.
All right, we're not going to listen to
for a great low rate that you can get online, go to the General and save some time.
Yeah.
Oh, we parallel thinking there, stream. Surprised there's no mention of the General. Boom.
Yeah.
Mention General. Skip It's pretty good too, from our good friend Harry. Skip it.
That Education Connection was on all the time at like 3:00 in the morning as I'm watching like ESPN News.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what you're watching at 3 in the morning. I got it.
Okay, sorry, you've outed me. In between episodes of Skinamax.
Taxi Cab Confession. Suddenly they have HBO commercials.
Why don't we have a jingle for like one of those for one of the sex hotlines?
Yeah, those never really had jingles, huh?
No, they don't. They
I don't think that sells. I don't think that sells.
You'd be surprised.
Right. Speaking of top 5 kinks,
Crossfire is definitely a jingle. Crossfire, crossfire, crossfire. Sorry, I needed that.
Show that Tucker Carlson used to be on.
No, the little board game where you had little like metal balls that you shot at at a thing.
Those almost don't count because like half of them got turned into like TV shows, like G.I. Joe and Transformers, or like Matchbox. What was it? What was the Jurassic Park one? Because they had like they've had Jurassic Park toys forever.
There was a jingle that isn't just the score.
No. There was like because it was for like I don't remember. I might be thinking Matchbox. Okay, now POD jingle is demanded. We don't have one. We're not going to.
Are you sure? Because I've been thinking of one ever since I saw that comment.
If there is someone out there in our Twitch audience that creates a POD cast jingle, or just a Pride of Detroit jingle, it might just replace our theme song.
All right, I'm making sure to throw that into the actual podcast at the end.
I was gonna say also too, like, if you come up with it, like that would be the great like waiting music that we play.
True. I just like if we come up with a jingle, I feel like we have to make like a very like kitschy commercial for it, like a '90s commercial that ends on like the giant blue screen with the call now. Three easy payments.
I don't know why, but that just makes me think of, has this ever happened to you?
Yeah.
We're going to throw in a second one free. Just pay shipping and handling.
Yeah, which is like $15.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're jingled out at this point.
Oh, actually, wait. I've got one more.
You're looking for the POD 3.
Wow. I was just going to say Rock Auto. All the parts your car will ever need. They have like a whole band doing it and shit. All the carts. God damn it. All the parts your car will ever need. Rock Auto.
This is why we watch this stream, to see Chris's brain short circuit in between
I can't talk English. I just can't.
I think that's what happens after you've accessed so much data in your brain. Like, think about all the jingles you've already said. Now you're like really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Like half my time on YouTube and Wikipedia anyway. Like, my brain is just full of useless information. I can't talk. Jump Die, was it you guys who said the Sweetwater Tavern wings are really good? Yes, that is us.
Yes.
They are probably some of the best in Detroit.
Also, I completely missed it. Maybe that was when I gave my shirt on. You also gifted a sub to Spiffy Skydiver, so appreciate that.
Subscribe to Pride Detroit's Twitch channel with 12 easy payments of $4.99.
It's true.
Yeah, do it so that I can buy a new mic.
Yeah, we'll take credit for the Sweetwater wings, by the way. Like that's when POD comes to town, we all meet up at Sweetwater.
True.
Like, that's
you just ordered something. Nice.
Oh yeah.
God,
nice.
I'm jealous.
Support the place. Keep it in business.
Hashtag not.
I might get a little teacher on you right now and say, like, if you didn't order enough for the entire class, then you're not allowed to eat them during the stream.
All right. Well, we should get back into it, shouldn't we?
We should.
I just need a second so I can remember how to speak in English.
With your mouth. Very carefully.
Yeah. Thank you.
I blew it. I should have said that first.
No. You did fine. You did fine. With your mouth would have been acceptable too, because that's a very innuendo answer. All right, and we're back on the Pride of Detroit POD cast, and it's time for another game show. My friend Brian Noe, who I do a radio show with, did a big giant draft of lazy sports radio elements, and I think game shows are on there, but it's usually like Family Feud type of stuff. So I'm going to give Jeremy the benefit of the doubt as he leads us into buy or sell. And the topic today is, Jeremy, it is, what do I see here on my notes? It is comments from Detroit Lions coaches on the state of the team or various elements of the team.
Yeah, and if buy or sell is too cliche, I can change it to coach speak or keeping it real.
Same premise. Actually,
yeah, can it be keeping it real with Chunky?
What do you even do, Chunky? Yeah, but yeah, no, the Lions coaching staff, the positional coaches, talked to the media, a lot of them for the first time last week, and this segment is dedicating to weeding through everything that they said. What is fact? What is fiction? What is coach speak? What is keeping it real? What is buying? What is selling? All that sort of stuff. So you guys ready to go?
Coach speak or real talk?
Okay.
I think that should be the name of it.
Coach speak or real talk. Let's go with it. Let's start with defensive line coach Todd Wash. First time he talked to the media, and he broke some kind of important news, saying that Trey Flowers will play outside linebacker in the team's 3-4 base formation. So instead of being a down defensive end with his hands in the dirt, a lot of times he's going to be kind of standing on his feet there on the edge, potentially rushing the passer, potentially, still holding the edge like he did in Matt Patricia's system, potentially dropping into coverage a little bit. So buy or sell Trey Flowers as a quote-unquote great fit in this new scheme as an outside linebacker. Let's go to you first, Ryan.
You have to say that he's a good fit. You have to say that he's a great fit. You have to say every single player is a great fit for your team when you're planning on A, paying them a bunch of money,
sure,
and B, when they're kind of one of the only holdovers from a terrible defense. And it's like, hey, check it out. I got this scheme. He's going to be a great fit. I still think Trey Flowers is a good football player. I don't know if he's a elite football player, like how he got paid. But, man, I sure hope that he excels at being an outside linebacker. We talked about this a little bit on the Locker Room podcast. So, how often will the Lions be in that base defense, and how often will Trey Flowers be playing outside linebacker? But I'd have to say that I'm selling this just on it being coach speak.
Coach speak. I forgot. Coach is not selling. You think it's coach speak. Coach speak's a real talk. You think it's coach speak. What about you, Chris?
I think he's a better defensive end, yeah.
This is total coach speak. I'm trying to look up right now. Has he ever played outside linebacker? Has he ever lined?
I looked through his PFF snaps, and he's in the past 3 years. I don't think he's ever had more than 40 snaps at outside linebacker.
Cool. Okay. And we're going to be moving him there as his main position. Okay. Yeah. No. This is coach speak. Like Ryan, I'm not buying this idea of just great fit. You say that about everyone. We say that about everyone, even if you're about ready to cut them. Yeah.
I'm going to break conventions here, and I'm going to play my own game show. And I'm also going to say I think there's more real talk here than there is coach speak. I really do. I think we're kind of overselling how much difference there's going to be in defensive end versus outside linebacker. I mean, we see players make that transition all the time, and it's not like Trey Flowers has never stood up before when he rushed the passer. I think he's still mostly going to be rushing the passer, just kind of from a different position. And at the same time, when they go nickel, when they go dime, he's going to slide in defensive end and basically do the same thing he was doing last year. So I don't really think there's going to be that much difference. I don't see anything in his skill set that tells me he can't do that. I mean, we even saw Trey Flowers drop into coverage a few times last year, and we all lambasted, the previous coaching staff for doing that, but he didn't look out of place in it. He's had a fair amount of batted balls in his career too. So I don't think this is a huge deal. I think it's probably more of a deal than people are making out of it. It will be an adjustment. I'm not going to say it isn't, but I don't think there's anything that he's missing to make this. I do think he has a skill set to play this position, so it'll take an adjustment. But I think this is mostly keeping it real.
What you got next? What do we got?
Mark DeLeon, the Lions linebacker coach, said he was, quote, really excited about Jelani Tavai, and then went even further, said Jelani Tavai is, quote, gonna be a nice piece for us to work in this scheme. Chris, we'll go to you first. Coach speak or real talk?
I think that's real talk. I think we're still, I think we can still, again, Tavai's played his entire career under, a coach who was just not good. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do any kind of like rose-colored glasses ever on Matt Patricia. I think, just like maybe with Okuda, we see a new coaching staff come in there who understands it. And at the end of the day, guy's still a second-round pick from 2019. There's still plenty he can learn. There's still plenty he can maybe grow on. And if he can, then great. Lions, the bar for linebacker right now is not high. So I think if they can get Tavai to work, even if it's just a scheme piece, then that's fine.
Ryan?
I have to sell it as coach speak, because for as much as I want Jelani Tavai to succeed, we didn't see a whole lot of him succeeding, regardless, I think, of whatever position he plays in the scheme, under Patricia. So I have to sell it as coach speak. The only thing that maybe would have made me push and really would have torn me if he would have said something like Jelani Tavai is in the best shape of his life, because I think he legitimately is, from all the sweat that I see him pulling off of his body after a workout. He looks like he's dropped weight, right, Jeremy? Yeah. So, maybe he's a better fit now.
Yeah, and that's the big debate there, right? He mentioned like he looks like he's trying and he looks like he's in good shape, but you're right, like there's that whole cliche this time of year, everyone's in the best shape of their life, all that sort of stuff. And so to me, yeah, this is complete coach speak. I'm not one to say that Jelani Tavai is not going to make this team. I think he still probably does, just because there isn't the depth that the Lions need at the linebacker position, but he's going to have to make major changes to his game, because this coaching staff wants speed on defense. They want sideline to sideline speed, and Jelani Tavai just hasn't had that in college in the first 2 years of his NFL career. And it sucks for him, because like he had to put on a whole bunch of weight for Patricia. Now he's going to have to take it all off for Dan Campbell and company. So I don't think we're going to see it this year. I'd be surprised to see if he ever really plays a significant role on a Lions defense again. But yeah, this has got to be coach speak.
All right, what's up next?
Next up, let's go to the offensive side of the ball. Hank Fraley, offensive line coach, talking about Halapuli Vaitai. He says, quote, if he stays healthy, his consistency before he got hurt was really good. He was having a great training camp, and that injury really set him back. So coach speak or real talk, injuries were the main concern or main reason for Vaitai's struggles last year. Ryan, you go first.
I'm probably going to upset a lot of people when I say that I'm buying this as real talk, because, and I'll say this, everybody wanted Graham Glasgow instead of Vaitai. All right. But the fact of the matter is, when it came to getting Vaitai and with the plan of him being a tackle, I think that he's going to better transition to guard just because of his size. Now, for a guy of his size to play an entire season on a bum foot, that it's hard to anchor, it's hard to pull, it's hard to do anything if you just have a flat tire. Like, that's tough. So I think that with Vaitai, I think people are so low on him that anything that he does is going to be above expectations, and I don't think that he could be a worse player than he was last year. So I'm buying this as real talk.
I'll buy it as real talk too. I think that between, the injuries were such a big thing, as Brian says, bum foot will really slow you down, but also we talk about, for some guys transitioning from left tackle to right tackle is hard. Vaitai transitioned from left tackle to right tackle. Vaitai transitioned from tackle to guard. That was his first year going inside. And what's the Jeff Schwartz line about going from left tackle to right tackle is like wiping with your non-dominant hand or something? Yeah. I can't imagine what it's like going inside. That's probably something we can't say here on these non-FCC airwaves of the POD cast. But either way, it was a learning process for him to play guard, probably, and to go back to guard, which I don't think he's played since maybe high school. I think he didn't even play it in high school, to be honest. It might have been his first year ever playing guard. So unless he played some in college. So it was definitely a learning experience. And again, to be doing it on a bum foot, if he's got the experience down, if he's learned well, then I'll consider that real talk.
I'm surprised that you're both real talk, because I feel like I've been leading the charge on the leave Vaitai alone kind of charge. And I think we need to give this guy a shot. I think everything worked against him last year, whether it was the injury, the being moved to guard in the middle. And that shortened off season, and then being moved to guard middle of all of that. Like, no time to prepare. It was clear that this team's plan originally was to be right tackle, and then it all changed. And maybe part of that had to do with Tyrell Crosby just outplaying him at right tackle. And so maybe there is, I think a lot of the hate towards Vaitai is hate towards the contract, not the player. And that's fine. Like, the contract was bad. I think we can all sit here and agree, even if Vaitai turns out to be an above average guard, that's still a bad contract. But let's judge the player, not the contract. I think we need to give this guy a chance because, last year was tough for him.
Mm-hmm. Eric Ebron syndrome, right?
A little bit of Eric Ebron syndrome, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Speaking of Eric Ebron, what a great segue to tight ends coach Ben Johnson talking. Thanks for the assist there. TJ Hawkinson, he says, quote, "I really look forward to seeing him take that next step." So is that coach speak or is that real talk about Hawkinson potentially taking another big step, keeping in mind that he had 723 yards, 6 touchdowns last year?
I almost want to punt on giving an answer here because I feel like him taking a big step would be great as long as he keeps and stays on his feet. I guess I'll take real talk on it. I mean, Hawkinson, I think I got in trouble already on like kind of doubting a little bit of Hawkinson. I think I've seen plenty out of him, but if he can take another great step, I mean, he'll benefit from a much better offensive line. I think what will help him take a step is that he'll probably become a more favored target for Jared Goff. Like that's something that Jared Goff likes, dumping off to a tight end. So, I mean, if Hawkinson can take advantage of that, turn in some numbers for first downs and for touchdowns, then we're all good here.
Yeah, I wonder specifically what he means by taking that next step. Like, does that mean just him being a receiver? Does that mean him being a complete player in terms of like as a blocker, things like that? Either way, I think that I would end up buying it. And I would end up buying it because it just seems like TJ Hawkins is the kind of guy who really works and works hard. And you see it out of George Kittle and the way that he's like just steadily improved over the course of his NFL career, and not just as a pass catcher, but like proving himself to maybe be the best like dual threat tight end in the entire league. So I think that Hawkinson has a lot of that to his game. And, for somebody who has given Hawkinson the toughest time probably ever since he's come into the league of the Pride of Detroit staff, I think that this year is a year where he can like truly get put on people's radar. Like, I mean, Jeremy, that PFF ranking of the top 5 tight ends in the NFL, or the top 32, and then the top 5 graphic didn't have TJ Hawkinson, but it had Kyle Pitts. Like, I think that's maybe something like TJ Hawkinson would be like, okay, that's like bulletin board material. Like, how am I not going to be one of the top 5 tight ends after this year that I am about to have?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think both of you are right on point with a lot of things. Like, the main question is, like, if not TJ Hawkinson, who are they passing to, right? Like, they don't have great threats at wide receiver. They have a couple backs that can catch the ball, but it does seem like the stars are kind of aligning for TJ Hawkinson to potentially have an even bigger breakout year. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like I have to be the one that pours cold water on this a little bit because I don't know. I don't know if there really is that much of more of a ceiling to get. Do you really ever view TJ Hawkinson as a guy who could get 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns? I mean, maybe you draft a guy in the seventh or 8th overall, whatever it was. You're probably expecting him to have that potential, but I just don't. I don't know. I guess I don't really see him taking a noticeable step, at least in production. Like, no, but to be clear, like if he has 800 yards and 8 touchdowns this year, that's basically what he did with a couple more touchdowns thrown on top, and I'm completely fine with that. That's great.
Yeah. I think that's what you and me, Jeremy. I think we're in the same ballpark here on what we think about Hawkinson. It's just a matter of like, again, how much more of another step can you be, and if that qualifies either as your coach speak or real talk. That's why I kind of want to punt on this one.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Real quick and over and under. It is 17 games, but over or under 1,000 yards for TJ Hawkinson in 2021.
I'm still gonna go over. I just don't think he's gonna get as many. Actually, you know what? Damn it.
I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I just because the problem is I boxed myself in because I said he's gonna be a better fit. I mean, he's gonna be a good fit with Jared Goff. I just don't think it's gonna translate into all those yards that he got with Stafford. So,
all right,
I'll say over.
Okay.
1,200.
As soon as Kyle Pitts was out of the picture, now you're just all aboard the TJ Hawkinson train.
You have to be.
All right, next
Those are the rules of the pit stop.
Next coach, Mark Brunell, we heard from for the first time, which was cool. Very interesting guy to talk to, and smart guy, it really seems like. He had a whole soliloquy on Jared Goff, and I'm just going to read part of it here. He says, he's everything you're looking for. Competitive, a quarterback that has won, I believe, as a starter 42 games in addition to leading a team to the Super Bowl. That's who we're getting. That's who I get to coach. I'm looking forward to that. We've worked together on Zoom. He's very bright. He's picked up this offense. He's very hungry. He's motivated. Honestly, he has just been incredible. I cannot wait to get him on the field and see what he can do in person. Guys, is this Mark Brunell just coach speaking up his quarterback? Or do you think, this is real talk, he's actually very excited and very optimistic about Jared Goff?
This is coach speak. I'm positive on Jared Goff. I am not the doom and gloom. Jared Goff is going to be who he was last year forever kind of guy. But like he also says, he's seen a lot. Like I've seen a lot of tape. I've seen some incredible plays, some incredible games. Yeah, Mark Brunell is watching 800 hours of tape in the past 24 hours because that's a Jaws quote, man. That's a Jaws quote. And again, like I know everyone in the NFL does this about leading a team to a Super Bowl, but I don't know. I see quarterbacks as part of a giant machine. It's a very important part. It's a starter on a car, but it's still a part at the end of the day. So I don't know. I'm selling it a little bit. I feel bad about it because again, I think Jared Goff can probably rebound, but that's a lot to heap on to a guy who's basically on the losing end of a trade from Los Angeles.
Ryan?
I mean, this is 100% coach speak for a guy who needs to be motivated as much as possible. You
should be getting your own motivation, to be honest, if you're Jared Goff. Like, you should be motivating yourself, but yeah.
Well, I mean, you should if you have self-awareness, but I'm worried about whether or not Jared Goff has any self-awareness being the...
he's staring into the sun.
That he is. Okay, yes. Well, no, he'd be staring in the... You'd have to grab his shoulders and...
Point in what direction the sun is rising.
Yes.
I think I'm buying at least. I see in the notes buy sell Brunell's excitement is legitimately excited. I think Brunell is legitimately excited because I think Brunell sees a lot of himself in Goff. I'll just say that.
Yeah, that might be true. I mean, well, apparently Mark Brunell sees a lot of the 96 or 97 Jaguars in the 2021 Detroit Lions, right, Jeremy?
That's right. Yep.
That's both good and bad.
Yeah, the 2021 Detroit Lions, as close as you can get to an expansion team without actually being.
I mean, they did. I mean, I guess I like this because it's implying that DeAndre Swift is Fred Taylor.
Hey, that'd be a great ceiling for DeAndre Swift. He would definitely be a top 32 running back if that were the case. But the last thing I want to say about Goff is that, this is kind of. Do you guys think that if things go sour or they don't go right with Detroit, like, do you think that Jared Goff might be done as a starting quarterback in the NFL?
Yes.
Yeah. I think so too.
He'll move to journeyman. I think he'll move to journeyman and probably get another shot, kind of like Fitzpatrick keeps getting shots.
Well, that's what I think. He'll just kind of be a journeyman that maybe
Andy Dalton.
Yeah, someone that'll probably serve mostly as a backup, but could also step in a couple games and win.
I think some bad teams will sign him as a starter. Like that's going to be. That's what Fitzpatrick is. That's what Dalton is. Bad teams will sign you as a starter because they have no other choice.
I kind of view Goff's ceiling a little bit higher than those guys, though. Like higher than Fitzpatrick, higher than like his career ceiling, higher than Andy Dalton.
We'll see.
I don't know. Yeah.
Not quite Alex Smith, but we're getting to that territory now.
I think this is real talk. If the question is Brunell being honest with himself, because I don't know how you can watch that press conference and not feel like he's actually speaking from the heart. Like the way he was talking, the way he was, the emotion that were jumping off his words, and maybe that I think a lot of it is probably just pure excitement. The dude's coaching in the NFL again. He's in the NFL again, so that's got to be exciting for him. But I'm certainly not buying his. I certainly don't share his feelings that like this is a Super Bowl contending quarterback. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. I'm not saying he can't do that again, and I'm not saying that he doesn't have a lot of talent. I do think he has a lot of talent, but I just slow down, Mark. Slow down, Mark. I know you're excited. Slow down. Last one before we get off here. And this actually wasn't part of the pressers last week. It was Anthony Lynn joining The Athletic, the fellows from The Athletic, for a little film session, which I thought was a really awesome series. But he talked about Jamal Williams in a way that sparked a lot of controversy by people who read it completely wrong. But he spoke very, very highly of Jamal Williams, and the quote I want to focus on is, quote, "I think we can use this young man across the board." So he's talking about all three downs as a potential 3-down back. So is that coach speak, or is that real talk? Could Jamal Williams be a potential 3-down back for the Detroit Lions?
I'm gonna sell that. I see the positive attributes of Jamal Williams, and I just view him as being a guy that the Lions can count on in a pinch, but they can also count on him as a reserve rotational back. But I understand, like, the Packers were all in on Aaron Jones, so like prioritizing and signing Jamal Williams isn't a big thing because they also drafted AJ Dillon. But I think that if Jamal Williams was quote unquote like a complete 3-down back, in the sense that he'd be like a workhorse, he would have gotten more than $6 million in free agency, right?
Sure.
I don't know. That's where this is not taking. I think Jamal Williams is going to be an awesome complementary back, and that's just how the NFL works today. So like Jamal Williams is in a very important role. He doesn't have to be like stuffed in this like kind of like outdated box where it's like, oh, he's a 3-down back. He can do everything. Like, he can pass block, he can run the ball if you need him to. But like, I don't know, if Anthony Lynn meant it from that aspect, I have to sell it.
I'll buy it. I'm not going to betray the guy who came on our podcast and talked anime with me. I'll buy
okay,
it.
you can purring ferret.
Purring ferret. Yep.
Well,
Yep. I will totally brown nose on this. Sure.
Let me frame it a different way. What if you had to guess right now, and let's just pretend there's no other running backs on the roster. It's just those two. What is the snap distribution going to be between those two, percentage-wise?
Between Williams and
Swift, yeah. 60-40?
I was gonna say 65-35.
I think that's about right. 65-35, yeah.
I think it might be closer to 50-50. No, I don't think it will be 50-50. I think it'll be closer than I think
I literally could. I just could. Maybe we're overvaluing DeAndre Swift a little bit. I don't know. Like,
to be clear, I think they just like both guys a lot, and they'll just go kind of drive by drive, and it's going to frustrate fantasy owners. It's probably going to frustrate Lions fans a little bit as well. But I think they really like those guys, and personally, I'm not one. I know players will tell you all the time that they need to get in a rhythm and things like that. It might be a little bit disruptive towards that, but I think they like both these guys quite a bit, and they're going to want both of them on the field.
That's the sustainable model in the NFL now, though,
True.
Jeremy. So I could totally see it being 55-55 or 60-40 or even 50-50. So, and that would be a good thing for the Lions.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy, for the game. That was excellent.
Thank
You
you.
did a good job. You did a good job.
Me, of course.
Nobody won. The listeners won. The listeners won because they got to hear us all. That's how it's going to work. And Ryan's grabbing his eyes. All right, we're taking a quick break here. We'll be right back to close up shop on the Pride of Detroit POD cast for the week of the 24th of May. All right. We'll have to make the third one a little short just because I think we're at like 50 minutes.
As smooth as Rob Thomas.
Ew.
You got the kind of love and it will be so smooth. All right.
Simultaneously
enough
sounded
singing for one podcast.
Sounded like Team America.
Speaking of jingles.
Thank you, V Stucky, for the follow. Appreciate that.
Does Round Ball Rock count as a jingle?
See, I was thinking about that because of the
song.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not
it's
for
a
like,
theme.
but it's for like a TV show. So I mean, but it's not for like a TV show. It's for like, I don't know. It's like you come into a studio show. So I don't know what to classify it.
Sorry, that was my package. Has arrived. So Windy City Meatballs pointed out that the Lions dropped a whole bunch of photos from I guess a practice that they had today. OTAs technically don't start till tomorrow, but phase 3 started today and they took the field. And
Jeremy, for this like the Zapruder film.
I love doing that sort of stuff, but I think this is. Oh, all right, hold on. I gotta go get this. Go talk to the people while I get this package.
Hey, you took us off the screen.
Flip it.
There we go. Okay. How's it going, Ryan?
No, it's going good.
Not sure if you guys look on player's profile website, but the comparison for Jefferson is Jamal Williams. Thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah. I know I'm in kind of like the burnout phase from the draft, so I'm kind of like everything looks good right now. Everything looks good.
Okay. I'm gonna show people stuff now. Ready? Here we go.
All right, let's go.
Offensive line. We got Taylor Decker. We've got that's Jonah Jackson.
That's Jonah Jackson.
Frank Ragnow. I believe that's Hal Vaitai, and that is Penei Sewell. So Penei Sewell is there. And we've got our starting lineup as expected on the offensive line there.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Also, Jared Goff is there, just in case anyone thought he wasn't going to be there.
Wow, I never expected that.
I mean, part of the question here, Chris, is who's going to show up because they said they weren't going to for voluntary workouts, and this is all voluntary.
Preened themselves, Jeremy. Wow, the NFLPA preening and demanding and acting like they have any kind of power whatsoever. Wow, and then just immediately folding like a table at a pro wrestling event. Yeah.
There's soon to be training camp favorite Sage Surratt with thick thighs right there.
Holy shit! What is that? Holy. What the? What? What?
All right, not very exciting. There's our buddy Jamal Williams taking a handoff. Exciting.
What is he wearing? It's like a sock on his head. I like it. It's very ninja.
Javon McKinley, another wide receiver that could.
The Lions get the Surface Pro. McKinley. All right, that's our guy who we all think is going to make it because they gave him a bunch of money.
True. There's
it's quad like Barry. You're damn right, man.
It's funny you say that because I recently looked at a picture of Barry Sanders' quads, thanks to this guy over here, for an article coming later. That's all I'll say about that.
I was going to say, like, how many times do you think you're going to see, hear, or talk about Barry Sanders' thighs in one day?
Definitely, I did not have the over-under on 0.5 at over. Decker, Hawkinson.
Hours apart.
There's our rookie guy right there. Look at that mean. He looks pissed. Who's he talking to? I assume that's a coach, unless it's Jared Goff. No, that's got to be a coach. Look at those skinny arms. That's a scary look, man.
Some scary shit.
Is that Goff? He's got tiny little arms. Are you sure?
This is why I don't like doing this.
There's Jonah. Not very exciting. There's some Hawkinson nipple action. Very, very exciting. You get positive that's Goff? All right. He's got tiny little arms then.
That's Hawkinson.
Victor Bolden, a guy that we've probably all wait.
Nick.
Is this I don't know if you can read this chat.
Running back.
That says running back. Is that just a misprint or are we breaking news right now? Something I might keep an eye on this week. Vaitai with an awkward smile in his starter-looking-ish jacket. So this photographer loves Jared Goff. Or loves TJ Hawkinson, I mean.
It's like the second time you've called him Goff.
No, I was talking to chat the other time. Elise Mack, okay. A nice little one-handed grab. More Jonah Jackson. I'm not sure. Oh, that's Dan Skipper. I should have known since he's a freaking mountain of a man. Just look how long that dude's back is. Sewell. More Hawkinson. Who's he with? Oh, it's Darren Fells. Look, they're best friends already, guys.
Tight ends.
Tight ends. Trey Flowers with his perpetual am I mad or confused face.
Outside linebacker Trey Flowers.
That's right. Has there been a pick of Stenberg? Not that I've seen. There's Nick Bolden carrying the ball. Still playing fullback, apparently. Taylor Decker either yawning or yelling. There's DeAndre Swift. I don't think we had seen him before. Confirmed he's there. Jason Kabinda. Shoving a coach. Probably getting fined for that. More Swift. More Hawkinson. Trey Flowers. So, okay, that's just Sewell and Vaitai together, where they will be working together, presumably for a while. Flowers, everybody that we know. Have no idea who this guy... Oh, Tavante Beckett.
Devontae Beckett.
Tavante Beckett, that's all I got to say.
Devontae Beckett.
There's Jared Goff.
Are we going to talk at all about Julio Jones?
Do you want to?
I kind of want to.
I kind of do too.
Let me just say this by way of talking of Julio Jones. Are we back on stream yet, or are you still looking at pictures?
I'm still looking at pictures, but they can hear. I mean, they can hear you. They don't need to see you. There's nothing interesting to have. Too interesting happening right now.
On this thing right now. Let me just say this: Calvin Johnson never did the Lions like that. I guess we know who's the more stable franchise.
I mean, I would have preferred to get some trade assets out of him rather than just him retiring.
He didn't do the Lions like that. That's all that matters. Everyone thinks they're gangster. Everyone thinks they're bigger than the Lions right up until on national TV, on speakerphone, you're trashing both the Falcons and
the
another
Cowboys.
Team.
I mad respect for Julio Jones trashing the Cowboys on national TV, even if he didn't know he was doing it. By the way, Jamar Jefferson taking a handoff from Jared Goff. That means he's an RB1 confirmed.
We're all in for that, I guess.
Oh, they did it again. Chat, they did it again.
What'd you want to say about Julio, Ryan?
Kind of something along the same lines as you, Chris, but I wanted to know like how much that would hurt on a pain scale as a fan. Like, what if you would have found out about Calvin Johnson like that?
Well, I think the problem for us as Lions fans is like that would be within character for Lions, I guess. But I guess that's also in character from the Falcons too, right? Because like this is a team that has lost both of its Super Bowls on insane psycho shit. The one where you become a meme, and then in the 90s when your Walter Payton Man of the Year gets busted on a prostitution charge the night before. So
yeah,
I mean
crazy things have happened, right? But like Julio Jones he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
And I mean, I know you don't wear caps going into Canton, but like you're kind of always going to be remembered as an Atlanta Falcon.
Well, here's the thing. For most sports, you don't get to be the guy going out. Like I think between the myths of Derek Jeter and a little bit of Peyton Manning, we have this myth in our mind that you get to go out of the sport standing upright, or you get to go out remembered fondly and not feuding with anyone on your old club. Divorce for a lot of sports is messy, man. And you don't always get to go out at the immediate end with the bridges intact. Sometimes, as we've seen with Calvin Johnson's, you have to rebuild the bridges a little later on. And then eventually, I think eventually Julio will come back and he'll make good with the Falcons. But that's not going to be now. That's not going to be now while he's playing. It's going to be like 5 years down the road.
I don't know. I don't think this is a big deal. Like, didn't we kind of already knew that he requested a trade? Like, he wants out. Is that a big deal? Like, players want out these days. He wants to play for a contender. Why is that a big deal when he's 32? And it's at least clear to me that the Atlanta Falcons aren't ready to contend. Like,
but it's the way he's taught. He talked. It's the way he kind of.
I think it's the way he phrased he's like, I'm not coming back.
Yeah, it made it sound like he was getting out of an open air prison there.
What if you would have found out about Matthew Stafford like that, Jeremy?
You never would have heard Matthew Stafford talk that way, though.
Oh, okay, but what I'm trying to say is like you're somebody who is
talk that way.
I'm saying that like Jeremy was somebody who was like pretty upset like when Matthew Stafford left, and it was on good terms. Like, yeah. Would it change it if he went out on? Because I definitely think that Julio's going out of Atlanta on bad terms. Yeah,
I mean, I guess the reason I'm getting defensive is that like Calvin Johnson left the Lions on bad terms. Do I have any hatred towards Calvin Johnson for what he did? No, absolutely not. He did not enjoy the Lions franchise. Things went out on bad terms. I mean, I think even before all the wanting your money back, things weren't great. You know, we heard him talk about like the medical staff and his issues with that. Things weren't great with Calvin Johnson. And if Calvin Johnson would have been caught on camera saying something like that, we saw what happened, what's still happening with Calvin Johnson with a lot of fans. A lot of fans still don't forgive him for what he did, for things that he's said since. I don't get it. Like, let athletes be who they are. Let them, if they're mad at a franchise, if they're mad at your franchise, like, your franchise probably fucked up. Like, sorry.
I totally agree. I think that there would just be like more vitriol like towards Julio Jones. Like, I don't know, like watching Charles McDonald today, Forverts, just on Twitter. Like, I mean, that's that is who the Atlanta Falcons are. Like, he's just like posting like depressed cartoon after depressed cartoon after depressed cartoon of just like, dude, like, this sucks. Like, I mean, he's been all along the board of like, don't trade Julio Jones for anything less than a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most Falcons fans out there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and the new meme now is like Mina Kimes was like, watch the Patriots get Julio Jones for less than it costs to get Mohamed Sanu.
And yeah, I mean, listen, like, I already don't like that show, and I already don't like Shannon Sharp, and I already don't like Skip Bayless, but Shannon Sharp did him dirty. Like,
I don't think he did.
He 100% did.
I think Julio knew. Julio had to know he was live.
Why would he start talking about I'm hanging out with my cousin? That was such a conversational tone that did not have any sort of sound like they were talking on a radio show.
Yeah, I don't know what. Well, he could at least hear, like, he definitely heard Skip over there, so he must have known as soon as the first thing comes out that he was on air. I think that's just how I think that's A, where Julio was, and also B, that's kind of what you get when you're not being coached up by your agent. Like, you're just ready to just kind of talk from the hip. I don't know what Sharp was texting beforehand, but I would say that knowing what I know about law about being recorded in California, I would have hoped Shannon at least told him in a text, like, hey, I'm about to call you and put you on, while we're doing Undisputed. I think Julio. I don't think Julio would have minded.
90 seconds into that clip, he says, "We're on air." He told him that after he had spilled his beans.
No. Sharp on that clip never said that. I think it was.
He does.
It was. What's her name?
He says it at the very end. A lot of people are only seeing the 30-second clip. There was someone that just like.
No, I saw the whole thing. There was, I forget her name. The other host on that show.
Sharp says it. Sharp says, like, we're on air.
She says remind him that we're on air, like, way before that too. So yeah, I still think that I don't know. I think it's Sharp's easy villain here. I think Julio didn't care.
I think that Julio was in on it.
Yeah.
This was his way to just like force his way out of Atlanta.
And to soften the blow makes it look like he was Shanghaied.
Uncle Sharp did me dirty.
Oh, God. We're just going to start calling you Tinfoil Matthews.
I'm going to hit one of these days, and you're never going to hear the end of it.
Yes, I watched the clip. I watched the whole thing. I might have the sequence out of order as far as when the third host talks, but, I saw it.
All right.
Like, this idea that we're just going to get mad and just try to pillory Sharp just is like, Okay, whatever. He seems to trust him enough. You're calling up Shannon. If Shannon Sharp's calling you at that hour, like, you got to know he's on, fucking Undisputed. I don't know. Like,
do you? I don't know where that show airs. Shannon Sharp called me. I wouldn't assume he was on air.
You guys want early enough in the morning. I know you don't like those kind of shows, but
do you think Julio Jones does? Do you think any athlete watches? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, like if this uncle, if he's got a thing with Shannon Sharp, he must know, because he's probably tried to come up. It's like, all right, man, I'll get you back. Like, I'm recording a show or something.
I don't know. Maybe.
I just don't think Julio's going to come away from that mad at Shannon Sharp. Is where I'm trying to get to.
I would be if I was him.
You guys just want to fucking pillory Shannon Sharp, which I get it, but I'm just saying it's not going to be. Is that the no? That's so. I think I sent you. There was a longer one.
This one's a minute 12.
Yeah, there's like one that like he's like ringing. I just wanted to make sure I got. If it not informing Julio prior to be. Yeah, so California law and they do record Undisputed on the Fox lot, which is in Los Angeles. So California law is it's single party. You have to two party. You have to let the other side know that you are being recorded. Which I mean, that's only a question if Julio then brings charges up against Shannon Sharp, but which I don't think he'll do. But I can't find the full fucking.
I have it. I'm playing it.
Are you sure it's the full one? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Julio. Hold on. Let me put you up. Can you hear me? I got you. This is your favorite uncle. What's going on, bro? Man, nothing much. About to go meet up with my brother. What's happening with you? Man, look. You want to go to the
It
Cowboys,
looks like a
Julio,
kid at Christmas.
or you want to stay in Atlanta?
Oh man, nah, I'm out of there, man.
You out? He's out of there. Are you going to? Ideally, where would you like to go?
Right now I want to win.
Okay. Well, don't go to Dallas. If you go, you ain't winning in Dallas, Julio.
Man, listen, come on, man. You already know. I know.
Okay.
Can you remind him we're on television?
Ask him why we wore the Dallas.
Listen. You know how people is, man, with all that going on with the picture.
Yeah.
And all that stuff like that.
Okay.
Man, I ain't never been on that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's good enough. Yeah. Julio, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for calling me back. We on air, but I appreciate you calling me, dog. You know I know my nephew was gonna pick up.
Oh yeah, nah. Yeah, I ain't going to Dallas, man. I never thought about going to Dallas.
Okay. I appreciate that, bro. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Now he might not have any choice.
Yeah. All right. So you're right. So the producer comes in there and you can barely hear her. Yeah, and I doubt Julio heard her.
I see their chat going, he's not going to sue Fox Sports, guys.
Yeah,
he's not. He's not going to sue Fox Sports.
I don't know if, like, do they have an actual familial relationship, or is that?
Yeah, I don't know, and I'm not gonna tread on that ground just because that's dicey. But no, I Julio, like, maybe he might be a little miffed, but like if he's out, he's out. He won't. We just want Fox. It's like, you guys are crazy. You guys just get out of here.
All right, enough messing around.
You're just being weird, guys. Like, what the hell? Like, for what? You guys,
everything about that interview looks to me like
carry a sword for Julio Jones, who doesn't know you from jack shit. Okay, go ahead.
Well, you're carrying Shannon Sharp's sword right now because he's a coworker. I get it. It's Fox Sports.
He's not my coworker. No, we have Fox Sports in front of the name. Let me tell you, it is not the same effing people at all. It's not.
All right. Ready to get in this last segment?
Yeah.
Hope you guys don't get mad at us one day like you get mad at people on ESPN or Fox. You get like, I fear you guys. You guys are fucking psychos. You want to attack people who do this shit. Ain't fucking Barstool. Wrapping up shop here on the Pride of Detroit PODcast, and we're getting in here. I know it's time for OTAs. During break, Jeremy was salivating over a bunch of photographs from practice, going through them like the Zapruder film, just back into the left, making a big deal out of who was it, Victor Bolden being labeled as a running back.
Yeah,
RB1. Heard it here first on the Pride of Detroit podcast.
Yeah.
Intern mistake or breaking news? We'll see.
Jeremy, you said that you were so excited for OTAs on Twitter. What makes you so excited?
I don't know. I think part of it is just being there for. I mean, we didn't get to go. There weren't OTAs last year, right? Like there was nothing. I haven't seen the Lions practice since training camp, and I think I went to about 5 practices last year. And it's honestly one of my favorite things about the job is just being there on the practice field, because you get nothing during practices during the season. You just basically take attendance. So training camp and OTAs are the one chance you get to see, the sausage getting made. And it's a new regime based on everything I heard from Eric last week. Like, seems like practice is fun. It seems like the coaching staff and everyone's a little more interactive with the staff or the media that's out there. And I'm excited, man. It's a return to normalism that we're all starting to feel. And this is just like adding on top of that.
Yeah, listen, I got my second shot last week, and I think California fully opens on the 15th. It's definitely another sign of that, and I think it'll be part of a sign that we just get, as you say, full OTAs, full training camp, access to a lot of it. I know we were just talking about what Lions games will probably open up, so Jeremy, I've got nothing really much to add other than I think I've got one storyline I want to see from OTAs. But otherwise, it's just practice to me. But it still means something.
Your choice of words were very interesting, Jeremy, because you said the staff is more interactive. Tell us why it's a big deal that there wasn't a rookie quarterback at rookie minicamp and Mark Brunell had to throw the passes.
I mean, that's cool, right? Like they just decided, hey, we already know our 3 quarterbacks that we're going to have in training camp and OTAs. Like, screw adding another one that we're just going to cut in a couple days. Like, let's just wing it ourselves, and we'll just deal with the heating and the icing of our shoulders tomorrow.
Yeah, Mark's like, I still got it here.
I hope that all of the coaches at some point just step in, like Aaron Glenn shoves Okuda to the side. He's like, do it like this, and then just does it. Or
just go on Randall. Yeah. Glenn's just gonna wrap up on Cephas and just take him to the ground.
Do you think Antoine Randall could make the Lions 53-man roster right now?
100%.
Yes.
Versatile.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a quarterback or wide receiver?
Wide receiver.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
No, but I mean, I think the biggest storyline for me, and I think we're already starting to see the answers of it because they did post pictures of, I guess, some sort of practice today. I was under the impression OTAs didn't start until Tuesday, but they posted some on Monday afternoon, evening, was just who's going to show, because the Lions had that statement back in, I want to say April, it might have been March, that said, hey, due to COVID concerns and safety concerns, we're not going to show up to voluntary programs this offseason until you guys get your act together. Well, OTAs are voluntary, and it looks like just about everyone has shown up so far. We've seen Goff, we've seen Vaitai, which is also a great sign that he's gotten over his COVID positive test. We've seen the full offensive line.
Sewell.
What did I say?
You said
Vaitai. Sewell. Sorry. Yeah, and so it seems like we've already gotten the answer to our question, but there, every year there are people that don't participate in OTAs simply out of personal preference, whether it's working out on their own. But it seems like we're going to have pretty much a full house, which gets me even more excited, because while rookie minicamp was nice, it was also just a small tattering of players, and we don't know how those guys are going to stack up towards veterans. So attendance is question number 1, and we've already started to get our answer, and it looks like we're going to have a full house, which means exciting times are ahead this week.
How many players, real quick, how many players do you think were influenced by the Juwan James injury? Like, hey, either you can work out on your own, tear your Achilles, and lose your NFL contract, or you can come to the team facility and work out.
probably had some. I'm not going to say it didn't have anything to do with it,
right?
Yeah, I think a lot more of it is just this is just kind of what we know about the NFLPA at this point. It's like we want to posture, we want to make it sound like we actually like still have some power and leverage, but we signed away all of it, so we're just going to blow smoke. But then, yeah, it's time to get back in here when it's actually time. We've expressed our opinion, and now we're just going to come in here anyway. Just weak and feckless, like the NFLPA always is. Yeah. Just totally weak and stupid. But no, I think the big story for me, just looking at OTAs, is just I hate to bring up the quarterback because I feel like, oh my God, we're just going to hammer the quarterback. But kind of like how you should always throw kind of perfect in your in pro days. I would say I don't need to see perfection out of Jared Goff, but I at least want to see that he's not like, tripping over himself out there. That he's still he's at least got what's going on. Because he's the big wild card this year, right?
Yeah.
Like we've got half of Lions fans who believe he has no future whatsoever. He's a doomed failure from the first snap. And we've got another portion of Lions Twitter who thinks that he can be a long-term asset and just a complete reclamation project. And maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle, but at the very least, it's their first real shot at seeing what Jared Goff still has and how well he's going to play out there. And
no
how
question.
his accuracy is.
Yeah, I mean, we've taken Matthew Stafford for granted for these past 12 years. We haven't been paying that much attention to quarterback play during the offseason because we knew who the starting quarterback was and we knew who the starting quarterback of the future was. And we know Jared Goff is going to be the starting quarterback to start 2021 and probably to finish 2021, but we don't know how long that's going to be. And first impressions are important, and Jared Goff is going to have to make a heck of a first impression on the media. They'll get the first crack at him, but if I can, just real quick to Jeremy then, because we did superlatives last week on the schedule, and I think one of the superlatives we did was what game will make or break Jared Goff for you. We'll get right back to OTAs, I promise, but I just want to get, since we're on that topic and you seem to be on the fence on him, did you have a game in mind? Or, well, I mean, I don't think there's a game in particular that I need to see him do good or bad at. I think it's more like, will I know by now? Like,
yes.
Will I have an idea?
Yes.
And yeah, I think Thanksgiving's a pretty good marker. By then, I mean, I want to give him as much time as possible. And you also have to, there's a completely new offense for him, completely new receivers. You got to give him at least a month or two to at least settle in during the regular season. And yeah, I mean, am I going to be like 100% on one side or the other by the end of the year? I can't say that for sure I will be because we have to see how exactly it plays out. But I think I'll certainly be leaning in a direction or the other by Thanksgiving.
All right, back to OTAs. What do you guys have like a big storyline you want to watch out on here?
What about you, Ryan?
Like,
I think for me in particular, I know that on the locker room app, Eric has a how should I say this? He has a preference in terms of what he likes to watch, in terms of the offensive lineman versus the defensive lineman. I think what's going to be really interesting is watching one-on-ones with wide receivers and cornerbacks. Yeah. The entire wide receiver room is turned over. The cornerbacks are all young, except for a veteran here or there with Corn Elder and Quentin Dunbar, who's wearing number 1, by the way, right?
Yeah. Dunbar's 1 and Mike Ford is 2. Those might be subject to change still. I think, obviously anything can change through training camp. So
sure. Yeah. I guess just the thing was, is Okuda going to go 223 or is he going to go to 1? And I guess that's still subject to change, but I think it'll be cool nonetheless to have cornerbacks with single digits. But that all aside, wide receivers versus cornerbacks, I think is probably without a doubt, like the most interesting matchups that I think that we're going to see. Like even with like the turnover in the running back room and maybe seeing DeAndre Swift, like I know who DeAndre Swift is. I don't know really who Tyrell Williams is or Rashad Perryman or, any of those guys for that matter. So, yeah.
I'm with you, and I'm almost more interested on the defensive side of the ball because we don't even know who the 2 starting corners are right now, right? Is it Quentin Dunbar? Is it Amani Oruwariye? Who's the starting nickel? I mean, I guess that's kind of decided just because by process of elimination, there's no one else but Cornell Elder. But what is all that? I'm kind of curious. Just what is the starting lineup going to look like on defense, and what's going to look like in the sub packages that we keep talking about? Is Levi Onwuzurike, is he going to be the starting defensive tackle, or is it going to be Nick Williams, or is it going to be Deshaun Hand?
Yeah, I feel like I want to see a lot of Okudah at this point too. Like, because he's heaped a lot on the past scheme, and he's kind of insinuated in his very polite way that he just wasn't getting whatever Patricia was really throwing out there. And this is your chance now, man. 3rd pick overall, and you better start. And I get it. Corners take time to develop, but 2nd year now, so we'll see how well he transitions here.
I mean, I'm not trying to hate on the Lions wide receiving core, but like,
yeah, oh man,
this should be relatively easy compared to some of the things he's going to see during the regular season. He's not going to go up against a true number 1 in training camp.
And speaking of those wide receivers, like we've talked a lot about Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I mean, well, first glimpse we're going to get on Amon-Ra St. Brown to really see, since we saw a little bit of him at rookie minicamp, and he kind of did pretty damn well there. But now we get to see him up against some of the veterans too. So I mean, the rest of that group has to shake itself out too. I don't even know, what we were even expecting out of Cephas. I know we've kind of just picked and just looked at, oh yeah, the line will go up, but still a lot he has to prove.
Well, if I had to ask you, Jeremy, which side of the ball is going to be more impressive
out of the gate?
Is it going to be the wide receivers, or is it going to be the cornerbacks?
Oh.
On paper, I think it should be the cornerbacks. I think there's slightly more talent. It's not like an abundance of talent. I mean, we haven't even mentioned Ifeatu Melifonwu and where he pictures into everything, but he might have a shot at getting some real playing time this year as well. They've just invested more draft picks into that secondary, right? And at this point, it's not any proven talent. Jeff Okudah isn't proven talent. Amani Oruwariye isn't proven talent. Ifeatu Melifonwu isn't. Tracy Walker, still plenty of questions. I mean,
that was the guy that I wanted to mention. Like,
yeah.
I don't think we can talk about the defensive backs. I know we were talking about the corners versus the wide receivers, but I think Tracy Walker is one of the most interesting storylines for the Lions defense as a whole. Like, he showed promise under Patricia. He got in Patricia's doghouse at one point, crawled his way back out, and now he's just on the other side, like in a new regime for a guy that seemingly got talked up as being a steal when he was drafted in the 2nd round. Like, is that guy going to stick around or not? Because it's literally it's this year or bust, right?
Yeah, and we really it's someone we haven't really heard the coaching staff talk about much, right? Like, we've heard Jeff Okudah get talked up a whole bunch. We've not heard much from Tracy Walker, but it's kind of his show in the secondary, right? Like, who else is back there to help him out? He's going to start.
Dean Marlowe.
Dean Marlowe. I mean, maybe, but like, yeah.
Maybe we do need to suit up Aaron Glenn.
I would definitely say, like, if we're talking about like the 5 most interesting guys to watch during OTAs and training camp, Tracy Walker is probably up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's an idea, real quick. I mean, not to do a full list cast as we have like 3 minutes left in the show, but Tracy Walker. I mean, for me, it would probably be Jared Goff. Who else are we throwing on that list?
Penei Sewell, right?
Sewell, yeah. I mean, are we throwing?
There's not a lot of contact, but what's that?
Are you throwing Cephas on that list?
No.
Who are the like again? Someone from the wide receivers has to stand out. So who is it?
I'm surprised that you're not just thumping the table for Amon-Ra St. Brown right now.
I am, but
then add them to your list, coward.
Fine. We are making a list together as a family, and now
we are okay.
To me, it's probably Tyrell Williams, because I think he's penciled in right now as a wide receiver number 1. Can he live up to those expectations? He didn't in Oakland, I don't think, although he's dealing with some injuries there. Can he kind of reclaim what I think the dude has a ton of confidence, and I think he thinks he can be a number 1 wide receiver. So I'm interested to see if he can show it.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I personally, this seems kind of weird because it's not like a young player, but like Vaitai. Like, what does Vaitai look like when he's healthy?
Yeah,
because I mean, there's plenty of if he's playing guard, as we've penciled him in as, he's got some talent that he's going to be able to face in minicamp. Like, I mean, Brockers, Aleem McNeil, Onwuzurike. Like, they can throw a bunch of different stuff at him, from like big, strong guys to quick guys like, Brockers or Onwuzurike. Like, he's going to get tested in like multiple ways. And I think OTAs are going to be a long way towards proving that like he belongs as part of the offensive line.
Absolutely. I think we can put a bow in it right here. You guys good? You guys ready to go watch OTAs?
I'm thrilled. I'm actually thrilled. I'm more thrilled than Mark Brunell is about Jared Goff. I'm that level of thrilled.
That is a high level of thrillment, of thrilling and chilling. Jeremy Reisman, the thriller.
Don't call me that.
You got another nickname?
Don't call me that. There are people that have been tagged with the word thriller that I don't want to be compared to.
Michael Jackson?
Yes. Thank you for saying it out loud.
Marvin Harrison.
Oh, no. You said the name.
Find you somebody who talks about you the same way that Mark Brunell talks about Jared Goff, right?
Absolutely.
Those are words to live by. As we close up here on the Pride of Detroit PODcast, I'm Chris Perfett at Chris Perfett on Twitter, Jeremy Reisman at Detroit on Lion, Ryan Matthews at Ryan_POD. We'll see you next time, and as always, we'll see you Starside.